Okay. Well, very good morning, guys. So last day we just been talking on filters, right? ఫ్యాన్ లాంచ్ చేయి. స్పీడ్ తగ్గిపోయిందా ఫ్యాన్? అదెందుకు? ఏ నాని అని పక్కన పెట్టాం మళ్ళీ. అందులో లిక్విడ్ లేదు, ఎందుకు ఆన్ చేసి ఉంచుకున్నావు? లిక్విడ్ తెప్పించు. పక్కన ఎందుకు పెట్టారు? Okay, so we've just been talking about output cache filter, right? So in this, I'm just talking about the attributes of it. Two attributes I just explained to you. What are the two attributes? One is duration and the second one is location. Still we have vary by param and vary by custom. So what is vary by param? Actually, what is vary by param is, I'm writing one more display customers method. So we already have two display customers 1 and display customer 2. 1 doesn't have any caching, 2 was using caching. How much time? 45 seconds. So I'm writing one more display customers. Let me copy it as it is. Paste it here. Display customers 3. And for this display customers 3, now I'm passing a parameter. What is the parameter? String city. Okay, I'm passing a parameter that is string city. Means I want to get the values based on the city. We have a filter and I want to get the data based on the city. So how to get it? From C in DC dot customers, where C dot city is equals to city select C. I'm writing a query there and I'm passing the query to the view. So it doesn't require to be converted into list or anything. No need. Reason is there we are using IEnumerable. When I use IEnumerable here, it is a list or a dictionary, whatever, doesn't matter for us. So a direct query from C in DC dot customer, where D dot city is equals to city select C. So it is going to fetch all the data based on the city, right? And I am using the cache here also. Duration 45, location is server. And now see, when I just use this, basically, let me add a view for this. Right click, add view. And the design of this view is exactly same as display customers 2. Which batch? Which class? No, there's not a Python class. Next room. And I am just going to copy paste the code which is present in our earlier views. Same code only here. All these 3 views are having the same code. Display customers 1, display customers 2, and display customers 3. But one doesn't have Caching, 2 has caching, 3 also has caching now. So I'm calling 3 now. Okay, display customer 3. But for display customer 3, we need to pass a parameter. What is the parameter? City. Yeah. I'm using a question mark. City is equals to Hyderabad. I'm passing city is equals to Hyderabad. Yeah. You got the customers in Hyderabad only, see that. And when this happened, 7:35, 22. So here I'm writing now, city is equals to Chennai. When I say city is equals to Chennai, you notice that it adjusts 7:35, 37. Earlier 7:35, how much? 22, 7:35, 37. Now see, again I'm writing city is equals to Hyderabad, and see, this is a separate copy. This is one copy, and city is equals to Chennai is a separate cache copy now. Are you clear? This is called vary by param. Based on the parameter, multiple cache copies gets created for you. Earlier, in the older versions, by default, vary by param is off. By default, vary by param is off. That's why, what is the problem, you know? Suppose, when I said city is equals to Hyderabad, one cache copy is created. Next I said city is equals to Chennai. Even though I say city is equals to Chennai, I won't get the copy now until 45 seconds. 45 seconds, the old copy should be destroyed, then only new copy will be created. But now you noticed it, for Chennai, one copy is created. For Hyderabad, one copy is created. Like this for every city, it will create you one separate copy now. Did you understand or not? That is what we call as vary by param attribute. So basically, even though you don't specify that, by default, it uses the vary by param, but earlier in the older versions, this vary by param is off. Because the vary by param is off, if I create a cache copy for one city, for the next city, you require to wait for 45 seconds until the cache copy is destroyed. But now you don't require to wait. I think I have 6 cities in my table now, 6 different cities. If I use 6 different cities, 6 separate copies will be created. Did you understand my point or not? 6 separate copies are going to be created for you in this context now. So like this, it is just going to create you multiple copies in this place, and that's what we call as a vary by param. Even though you don't specify, that will use it, but still we can write what is that? Vary by param is equals to, what is that? Vary by param is equals to city. Even though you don't write also, that is the default behavior. Are you clearer? Okay, so that's what the vary by param attribute is all about. Vary by param is equals to. Fine, what next? So third one, we learned it now, vary by param. Next, vary by custom. Vary by custom. Basically, vary by custom in the sense, we can use our own custom value there. We can use our own custom value there. What do you mean by we can use our own custom value? Just a second. We'll show you. I am writing one more action method. One more action method. Display customers 4. Now I'm not using any parameter. But if you use also, no problem. Directly passing DC dot customers. DC dot customers. And I am removing this also. This is like our second method. It's like our second method. So in the second method, see, nothing, simply duration, location. That's it. Now this is also same like that only. Now right click on this, add view. come to display customers, copy and paste the same code. Guys, remember these 4 views are having the same design. I just only copy pasted the values. Same design in all the 4. Okay. Now, are we using caching here? Yes, we are using a caching. We are using a caching. Now run this. Which one? Display customer 4. Somewhere brace is missing. Yeah, guys, we just missed the brace. Yeah. When is the cache copy created? 7:40:46. I'm refreshing, but this is not changing. Now let me open Google Chrome browser. The same one. Are you clear? What is it using? The same time. Now see where the location is server. I'm saying location is equals to client. Even though you try to store it on the client, yeah, 7:40 to 12. Now I'm just opening Google Chrome. This only actually vary by customers. When I use this client, you see now it is going to create a cache copy on the client machine. So because it is going to create a cache copy on the client machine, you see now for Edge browser, you have a separate copy, and for a Chrome browser, you have a separate copy. But when it is server, both will have the same. But when it is client, both are having the different copies. Basically, internally it uses an attribute here that is vary by custom. How do we use that? Means even though you don't specify, that automatically comes into picture, but you can write it. What you know? Vary by param is equals to browser. The custom attributing now. What is that? Vary by param is equals, vary by, not param here, vary by custom. Vary by custom is equals to browser. Means vary based on the browser. Just vary this based on the browser. Means tomorrow if you open a different company browser, suppose you just opened a different browser now. If at all you try to open a different browser, another copy will come. How many browsers you try to open, that many different copies are going to be created. That is what we call vary by custom. Default is true, yeah. That's why even though I don't use that also, they're coming automatically. Vary by param is there. That also, even I don't use also, I got it. Vary by custom is there. Even I don't use also, I got it. But that is indication basically. That is actually to tell, array, this is going to vary by the parameter. This is going to vary by the custom browser parameter. To tell that, we just use those attributes. Even you don't use also, the default behavior is going to be the same actually. Am I clear, all of you? So that's what exactly the vary by param and the vary by custom attributes are. Okay. So are you clear with the four? What four? Duration, vary by param, vary by custom, location. Now cache profile. What is this cache profile? Nothing, guys. Actually, we are writing the cache information in the CS file, right? Tomorrow, once the application goes to production, is there any chance to modify the code now? Come on, tell me. Once the application goes to production, is there any chance to modify the code? No, you can't modify. You can't modify the code now. Why? CS files cannot be modified. So that's why if any changes are required, generally what we do, we basically, if changes are required, we try to store in the web.config file so that on the production environment also config files can be modified and the changes will be affecting into the application. Am I correct? So cache profile is exactly the same thing. What is it? Right now, you're writing all the cache information on the top of the method. Without writing the cache information on the top of the method, you can store that information in you can store this information into, in the config file. You can store the information into the config file. Did you catch my point or not? Where you can store? In the config file, you can store the information and you can use it here. So that tomorrow, if you want to make the duration change now, 45 seconds, I want to make it as 60 seconds. I can modify in the config file. Without modifying in the CS, we can modify in the config file. How do we do that? First, open web.config and write the caching information under the web.config file. Under this web.config file, write all the cache information. How do you write it? Is how you write it, guys. Just hold on. See, go to system.web tag. System.web. Basically, the system.web is your website settings. Settings to your website. Are you clear? Your site is developed in 4.8 framework. That's all information. There only you'll be writing this code. What's the code, guys? Caching. Output cache settings. Output cache profiles. Under that, you're adding a name. What is the name? My cache profile is the name. My cache profile is the name. Duration is equals to 45. You can use all attributes here. Location attribute is here. Location is equals to, you can tell the location is equals to server. You want to say vary by param, vary by custom. What I taught you, all attributes will be available. But you are going to write it in this particular place. Just look at the code. First tag, caching. Under that, output cache settings. Under that, output cache profiles. Add name is equals to my cache profile. Like this, you can create multiple profiles here. Multiple names. What name you use there, that settings will apply. See, you have one profile with 45 duration. You have another profile with 60 duration now. And the profile with 120 seconds duration now. So now, when you're applying there, you can tell the profile name. If I say profile 1, it'll take 45. If I take profile 2, it'll take 60. If I say profile 3, it'll take 120. I can give different attribute values now. And I can use those profiles in the in my page now. So how do you do that? Watch. Let's add a new method. Okay, let's add a new method and write output cache. And here, without writing all the details, simply say profile is equals to, what is the name you are given? My cache profile. Profile is equals to my cache profile. If you just simply use this attribute now, automatically it is just going to use, not profile is equals to, guys, sorry. I think cache profile is equals to. Cache profile is equals to my cache profile. So the settings, whatever you specify in the config file will apply. Tomorrow, if at all you want to change from 45 to 60 seconds, you cannot modify the CS code, but you can modify config file In the production environment also config can be modified. They can just go there, edit the config, make it 60, and automatically the time duration will change up to 60 seconds. Am I clear? So one way is writing in the CS. Second way, write all the information in the config and apply this and apply that to the action method you want. How to apply? Cache profile is equals to name of the profile. Now also same process. I'm going to add a view to this. And in this, I am going to write the same code as the previous. Run. All your cache settings will apply as is. So two things we learned till now. What are the two things yesterday? Child action only. Second one, output cache. First one is child action only. Second one is output cache. You see now, I'm refreshing. The time is not changing. For the next 45 seconds, same thing happened now also. Okay now? Fine. Third. Oh. Third one. What is the third one? Validate input, I think. Validate input or validate anti-forgery. Yeah, the next attribute is validate input, I think. Validate input or validate anti-forgery. Let me see what. Yeah, validate input. The next attribute is validate input. What is validate input? I think this is a simple thing actually. No need much discussion on that. I am going to write two action methods here. Same name. One is get and one is post. You know now, get and post. See there? Okay. Validate input filter. First method, get comments. This is the get method. Second one, get comment. This is a post method. For post method, I need to pass the input. What is the input? TXT comments. What is this one? Text area, guys. This is a text area. What I'm going to use? Get and post. After giving the input, what it will do? It will return the comments. It is going to return the comments. So first, what you require to do? So this is a get. I did not mention. Because I already said you. If I write the second one as post, automatically first one will become get. If I write the first one as get, automatically second one will become post. No need to specially tell. But still, if you are confused, okay, I'll write it there. HTTP get. Now, add a view for this. Add a view. What is this? Nothing, guys. Just one text area I want to take now. And if I get any input there and submit, that should go to server. That's all. I will look, all of you. I used a begin form, one div tag, label, comments, then a text area, comments, then submit button. When I hit the submit button, it will go to get comments, read the value, and returns the value. Very simple code, nothing to explain about it. Run. So first, which method? Get method is called. The view launches, displays a text box and a button. text area, not text box, displays a text area and a button. Now here I'm going to write some comments, hello world, and click on the submit button. When I click on the submit button, where it goes now? Post. And the post return type is not a view. The post return type is a string. When I click on it, yeah, got it. Are you clear? Okay. Now, there's nothing new here. But guys, understand a point here. What is that, tomorrow, when I'm giving some input to a program, I'm trying to use some HTML tags here. Means the output should be shown in bold. The output should be shown in bold. It has to show the output in bold case now. So because of that, I just given some bold tag there. Click on the submit. See now, it's not taking the input. A potential dangerous request.form value was detected from the client. It's a dangerous value. Why dangerous? Today you are thinking only simple HTML tags here. Tomorrow, I can use a script tag there and I can write some complex script code there to read the values of the server. I can use a script tag, use some JavaScript, write some potential dangerous code that can cause harm to the server now. When this goes to the server, it will automatically read the values from the server and just hack the server. That type of danger is there. That is the reason why by default, it doesn't accept any HTML tags in the input. You cannot give HTML tags in the input. Did you catch my point or not? You cannot give any HTML tags in the input. If you try to give HTML tags in the input, it is just going to cause a restriction. This is only validate input. The default value is true, guys. If you make it false, then it is accepted. Suppose I want to accept. No, I am not worried about the danger. I just want to accept it. You want to accept it? Okay. Then say, comma, validate input, and then specify the value as false. Validate input false. See, when multiple attributes are there, you can put comma and write of them. No need to, 2 times, no need of using square brace. You can use this comma here and the second attribute. One attribute is post attribute. Second attribute, validate input attribute. Now again run this comment. By default, that validate input is true. Because the validate input is true by default, it is not accepting any HTML. But still, if you think like you want to accept it, you can just go for using that false now. And now you see B, hello world, and by B. Click on the submit button. See there. Got it. Understood? Okay. But guys, that is not right. That is not right. What do you mean by not right? Yes, yeah. You should not allow that. Tomorrow, there's a great danger that is going to happen if at all you try to allow that. It's going to be dangerous. We call it as CSS attack. Cross-site scripting attack. What is it? CSS is a very common and is a well-known attack for web application. For example, a CSS or XSS attack is basically the result of poor form validation. How CSS XSS attacks works is, at first the hacker does inject some HTML code into the HTML input field. You have a HTML input field now, you will inject some HTML code. And the data along with the HTML tag is saved to database. Now, when there is a need to display the data in a user interface, then we will get it from the database and a legitimate browser will pass it as HTML code. Okay. If the hacker then injects a normal HTML string, then there is no problem at all. But if they inject harmful JavaScript code from an input field, that might steal valuable information from the user's computer, but we are very sure that we never want to allow the user to inject a HTML element through a form. In traditional web form applications, we use a form validation script in JavaScript very often to validate user input. Means in the olden days, we need to manually verify are there any HTML tags or not. But what MVC has done, whereas in MVC, the library has done all the job for us. So that no need to validate or write lengthy code externally. In MVC, by default, it prevents the HTML element as form data. Anyway, we can use the validate input attribute to prevent HTML explicitly in this way. How? Even I don't use also default is true only. Okay, which can be either used either on a controller or action method. What is that? Actually, guys, I did not tell you this. What is it on the controller or action method? I use this on the action method. So restriction is only for this method. But if I write the same thing on the top of the controller, the restriction applies to all the action methods. Did you understand my point or not? Tell me, if I use this on the top of the action method, that applies only to that action method. Other action methods, it won't apply. But if I use this on the top of the controller class, that applies to all the action method. Only this? No. All filters. All filters. You can apply block level, you can apply class level, or action method level, or controller level. If you apply action method level, that applies only to that method. But if you apply controller level, that applies to all methods that are defined in the controller. Is my point clear? Even I don't use, this is true only by default. But still, to understand, someone looking at the code, if you feel they need to understand, better write validate input true. Got the point? Okay, done. Next. So 3 are done. 4th one. Validate anti-forgery token. Validate anti-forgery token. What is this validate anti-forgery token? Watch. I am writing one more action method, 2 action methods, get and post again. I'm writing 2 more action method, get and post. Okay. So actually we have employee table now. I want to write a method for inserting a record into the employee table. I want to write a method for inserting a record into employee table. This is my requirement. I want to insert a record into the employee table. Okay now? So what do you need to do? We need to get a get method, should launch a view with all the input fields, enter the value, hit enter, should call the post method, save the data to database. And I am not giving an explanation how to do that. Number of examples I shown you all this particular thing for inserting, updating, deleting and all. So now I am writing only code for insert. Okay. So guys, have a look. There is nothing new here. Watch the code. Add employee. Launching the view. Again, add employee. What are we passing? Employee model. And then setting the status as true. Remember the code? dc.employees.add. dc.save changes. Return. Record inserted. I'm not launching a view. I'm only returning a string which shows you the message. What message? Record inserted. That's it. Now add a view. Right click. Add view. Now create a view for this. Should contain the text boxes to enter the values now. Watch. Have a look. Name, job, salary, department ID. Save, reset. Just a simple form what I created. When I hit that, it will go to add employee, insert the record into the database table. There's nothing new here also. Okay, simple. I created a view for performing a insert operation. That's it. Let me open SQL. Actually, how many records are there in the table? I think the employee table contains 25 records. Yeah, yesterday we dumped the data from one table to another table. There are some 25 records. DEPT table has 4 records. Employee table has 25 records. Okay, let us run and see meanwhile. Run the add employee. The view launches, enter the values and try to insert. Entering the name as Vishal. Job is equals to like analyst. Salary some 20,000. Department ID. Hold on. What are the departments we have? Select star from department. Okay. Department is equals to 40. Is a financial analyst. Okay. So now you see select star from employee. We have 25 records in the table. Clear. Now click on the save, record inserted, and you can see inserted. Done. Nothing special in this. Are you clear? Okay. So this is going to be a website. In a website, I have an insert option like this. I just performed an insert. Same way, you take a Facebook. Facebook has a registration page. Users can register. Are you clear? Okay. Now what is the danger here? I'll show you. Watch. What is the problem? So this is the view for inserting, correct? Right click on this. Carefully observe. Right click on this. Okay. View page source. I'm copying the content of the form tag. Only form tag. Nothing else here. I'm only copying the form tag. Just copy the form. Copy it as it is. Okay now. Only form tag. Nothing I copied. Now let me create a new file. We'll save it as addemp.html. Addemp.html is a file what I created. So let me I'm pasting it here. I pasted it as it is here. Just the URL, guys. Make sure the URL is correct. Yeah, this is the actual URL. Okay, now HTTP localhost 5022 home and employee. Okay, what I copied is only the form tag. That's all. Save and close. Now let me run this page. Let me run this page. Oh, fine. It opened. Okay. It opened. Salesman. Salary sum 50,000. Department is 20. Click on the save. Record inserted. Correct? Did you understand the problem? What here? Tomorrow, I will open the Facebook registration page now. I'll copy the form tag, the content from there, and I will add in my Naresh Shetty website, and I'll say from Naresh Shetty also you can register the Facebook now. Is it valid? From Naresh Shetty you can create a registration in Facebook. That only I done now. Did you understand the mistake or not? Someone's website page I copied of now, and I'm just trying it from local and it is working. Did you understand my point here? Someone's website's page is stolen now, and I'm using it in my local, it is working. Tomorrow, I can do the same thing. What I can do, I will go to the source of the Facebook, I'll copy the registration code. Now I'll just create a new page in my Naresh Shetty website now, and I'll say, Array, if you want to register in Facebook, no need to go to Facebook. From Naresh Shetty website also, we can just create a Facebook account now. How is it valid? Tomorrow you can do the same thing for a bank registration process. Can you do a bank registration from a website like from my website? Is it dangerous or not? That is the mistake. That is the problem. This is dangerous. Are you clear? How can we restrict this? How we can restrict this? If at all you want to restrict this, we are provided with a concept called as validate anti-forgery token. What is that? Validate anti-forgery token. Okay? And to perform this, you are required to make 2 changes in your code now. If you make the 2 changes in the code, then this action is not permitted. Then this action will not be allowed. It is not going to allow these type of actions now. What are the 2 changes? Change number 1. Go to the view. On the top of the view, you just require to add this. On the top of the view, you need to add it. What? @HTML dot anti-forgery token. @HTML dot anti-forgery token. You need to call this method. This is the first change. Second change. Go to the controller. On the top of the action method. On the top of the action method, write what? Validate anti-forgery token. Validate anti-forgery token. So you're writing these 2 things on the method. One on the top of the method and one in the view. Clearer? Okay. Now again, run add employee. Guys, observe, add employee. Run it. I am trying to insert a record, Vishnu. Job is salesman, 15,000. Department ID is 20. Save. Inserted. From the same site it was inserted, correct? You can go to SQL, you can verify the new record got inserted. Okay, now, go to view page source. Now, go to the form tag and copy the form tag now. Copy only the form. What I done in the previous, same thing I'm doing. And guys, observe this. If you look at this, I did not still paste it. This is a old one. This is a old one. What do you find? Form action is equals to something, method is equals to post. Afterwards, your div elements and all. Okay. Now see the new code. Now see the new code. In the new code, did you observe it? It was using some input element here. Name is equals to request verification token. Type is equals to hidden field here, the hidden field. And the hidden field contains a value now. The hidden field contains a value. It is just going to contain a value for you now. Are you clearer or not? Okay. So basically what happens, when a request goes to the server, the server will generate a unique key value and puts it under the page in the form of a hidden field. Next time when you go to the server, the same value should be submitted again. But the server will maintain that value. And when you submit, the server will maintain that value in a session. Next time you submit, if the same value goes, if both are matching, then it will allow you to insert. But you see now, just a second. What will happen if I try to execute this code? You observe. Just this URL change, I'm doing it. localhost something. Now saved. Observe all of you. Right click. I'm opening it now. Okay. I wanted to insert a new record. Click on the save. What is it telling you? The request anti-forgery token is not present. What is that? When the get request comes, it will create one token value and gives to the client now. Are you clear? And gives to the client now. Now see, you opened a new browser, you tried it, but this request doesn't have a token value. This request doesn't have a token value. When it goes to the server, it is not finding any token value there. This is a token value for another client, not for this client. That client token value will not be exchanged with the other client. So basically when you are going that, you have a token value, but this token value is not available on the server. Because that is not available on the server, it is telling you what, array, this request did not come from my site. This request is coming from another site. So should not be accepted. Did you understand? The request is coming from a different site, and because it is coming a different site, I should not accept this particular request. So this is what exactly the validate anti-forgery token. See, generally, basically, all applications will today use it. Your Facebook, everyone will use this anti-forgery token. If they don't use the anti-forgery token, they will be facing a big problem. Like everyone can create a registration page of Facebook and login page of Facebook in their websites now. So if you want to restrict that, the anti-forgery token should be enabled. Read it. This is a built-in functionality provided by Microsoft, which developers often use in their application for security purpose. That is, to stop cross-site request forgery from hackers. Cross-site request forgery can be defined as a forgery request, that is a fraud or fake request which comes on an authenticated site from a cross site and is treated as authenticated request. For avoiding this situation, Microsoft provides validate anti-forgery token function which we can use in our application so that no one can hack our site or invade some critical information. Got the point? Okay. So if at all you want to restrict the CSRF, means cross-site request forgery, you are provided with a filter called validate anti-forgery token. Okay, now tell me, this is a before action filter, after action filter, before result filter, after result filter. Louder. Before result. Means action method will execute. Before action, yeah. Where did you write that? On the top of the action method, the before action filter, that is. No, not like where did you write? Use your common sense here. If the action method execute, insert will happen now. Action method should not execute at all. Because the filter should run before the action execute only. If action method execution is done, insert is completed there. Where did you write the insert code? In the action method. If you want to stop it, method should execute or should not execute. Should not execute means this is a before action filter only. Okay? Fine. What next? The next filter. So 4 things we talked till now. Handle error. Handle error filter. This is basically for exception handling. This is for exception handling. So when will this handle error filter will come? When there is an exception. Last class I said you 5 options to you. Before action, after action. Before result, after result. Next, when exception. When exception comes, this filter is going to come into picture. That is called as handle error. So how do we use the handle error filter? Let me show you. I wanted to write a simple method for dividing two numbers. Observe, guys. What is it? First one, divide nums. We'll launch a view with a few text boxes on it. The text box names are num1, num2. And when I enter something and click on the divide, it is going to give you the result. Let me type a string again. Okay, the result will be directly shown on the browser. Right click, add view. Let's create a view for this. Yeah, watch it. I got two text boxes to enter the first and second numbers, and then a button for dividing and a button, submit button, reset button. That's all. So when I enter the numbers and click on that, it will divide and display me the results. Yeah, I'm entering 100, I'm entering 5, click on the divide button, got your result. Nothing new here. Understood me? Okay, there is nothing here. Simply we are writing the code to divide to numbers. That's it. But guys, in this, there is chance of getting errors or not. When I give the divisor value 0, attempted to divide by 0. You got an exception. What is the danger now, all of you concentrate on the code. What is the danger, Whenever there is an exception in your code, it will show you the details of the error on the browser. The exception occurred on line number 93. Before that 2 lines, after the 2 lines code, it is showing after user C. Today that code doesn't have any great importance there, but tomorrow we have some data validations, some complex logic you're writing there, and all that logic will be visible to end user here. Did you get my point or not? That's why we call this as yellow screen of death. Yellow screen of death. What is that yellow screen of death? Actually, the colors are not quite bright on my monitor. Actually, this message is a yellow color. Is what I'm telling you, that colors are not bright on my monitor. That's why you're not able to see that properly, but you see on your personal PC, this is going to be yellow in color. In yellow color, it will show you this particular information all. So we call this as yellow screen of death. And what will the user do by showing all this information? Exception details. In C# exception handling, you'll learn. What is the need of showing exception details to user? What can the user do? What you expect to show to the user is some user-friendly message to the user, but not all this nonsense. Are you clearer or not? What you expect to show? Some user-friendly message, but not all this type of nonsense to the user. What is the error now? Divide by 0 exception. We got a divide by 0 exception. Suppose you enter a value like what exception? Formal exception. What will have a formal exception will be coming into picture here. Suppose you try to enter a value larger than the size. Then what is it tell you? Array, the value was too large or too small for a into that to do. What is that? Overflow exception. You know all these things. Are you clearer? Okay, you know all these particular things, like a different kind of exceptions that can occur for you in your code. Okay, so basically whenever there is an error, what is going to happen? It will show you the yellow screen of the yellow screen to the user, and we call that as a yellow screen of death. It is called as a yellow screen of death. For security reasons, it is not at all good option of showing the yellow screen to users. Why? The yellow screen is showing up the logic to users here. Where the error occurred is one line, above the two lines and below the two lines of code is directly shown off to end users. And if at all you want to avoid it, if at all you just want to avoid this one, if you want to avoid this, what to do? You're just required to go for preventing this one. Right now, without showing that yellow screen, you need to prevent it now. How do you prevent? You can prevent it by using the handle error attribute. You can prevent it by using the handle error attribute. How sir? How do I use it? See, basically, whenever there is an error, what do you think of showing? I basically think of showing some user-friendly message to the user, but not. I basically think of showing what? Some user-friendly message to the user, but not the yellow screen. Something like, an error occurred in processing your request, recheck the input you have entered, or otherwise contact our customer support team. Something like that. But don't show the yellow screen. Okay? So how do we induce errors in our application? How do we induce errors into this error handling mechanism into our application? Okay? So guys, just follow the steps carefully. Step 1. Add a shared folder in the project. Yep, shared folder is already present. Let us go for the shared folder. And inside of the shared folder, let us add a view. Why you're adding in the shared sphere? Because error pages are common for all controllers and action method. Every controller action method can get an error. So whenever there's an error, I want to display one error page now. And that error page is going to be same for all. So that's why I'm going to create in the shared folder. Whatever is common should be in the shared. So go to the shared folder and create a view there. What name? Something like error.cshtml. Error.cshtml. Let's create it. Okay. And inside of it, I'm just going to write the code. I want a layout for that. I just don't want a layout for this. Error. I'm not using a layout. Now in the div tag, I'm just pasting. What does that see? I'm using H1, showing you as error page. H3. What is that? An error occurred while processing your request. Recheck your input or contact the customer support. So whenever there is an error, what's my expectation, you know? My expectation is I want to show what? This message. I wanted to show this page. This is step 1. Okay? Step 2. See, basically this concept, what are you doing? You're trying to customize it now. You're trying to customize. Actually, original behavior is showing a yellow screen, but you're trying to customize to show your own things. So to do this, the second thing what you're required to do is go to web.config file. Again, under your system.web. I said your system.web is all about website settings. You have an element called as custom errors. Mode is equals to on. Mode is equals to on. Default is off, guys. Default is off. Custom errors, mode is equals to on. Did you understand the second change? The first thing what you're required to do is create one error page. Second, mode is equals to on. Are you clear? Third, go to your controller and on the top of this write what? Handle error. What are you writing? Handle error. You're just going to add this particular thing called as handle error. Okay, 3 changes are what I done. Tell me, what is the first one? Come on, what is the first one? The first one is create a view. What is the name? Error.cshtml. Second, web.config. You're required to say custom errors mode is equals to on. Third one, on the top of your action method where you want to handle the error, use it. Otherwise, on the top of the controller. If you use on the top of the controller, applies to all the action methods. But now I'm using on the top of the action method, so applies to this only. Let us run the divide nums now. I'm giving 105. Just click on the divide. Everything is perfect. I'm giving 100 and 0. So there's chance of getting an error, right? Click on the divide and you see you got the error page. And you noticed one thing. I did not specify the page name anywhere. I created a page in the shared folder with the name called error.cshtml. But did I tell this view should be launched now? I did not. That's all built in. The name of the view should be error.cshtml and the view should be in the shared folder. So whenever there is an error, automatically MVC framework will pick that view now and show to the users. Now the yellow screen is hidden from the users now. And in place of it, I displayed a custom page. I displayed a, that's what, custom errors mode is equals to on. Actually this custom errors here, the mode attribute, the mode takes 3 values there. On, off, remote only. What is off? Off means don't show the custom error pages. Show the yellow screen. Show the yellow screen. Watch. Come to config. Set it as off. Mode is equals to off. I'm setting the mode as off. When I set the mode as off, what happens? It is going to show you the yellow screen now. 100, 0, click divide, watch, you got the yellow screen. And next, the second option is on. The second option is on. Well, second option is on here. Third option is remote only. What is this remote only? What is the remote only means? Listen, I'm a developer. I am a developer. I am running an application on the server machine. I am on the server machine running the application. You are consuming the application from a remote computer. Are you getting me? You are an end user. You are consuming the application from a remote computer. I am testing my application on the server machine now. On the server, I am testing the application. Now, when I give the values here, what is it going to show? The yellow screen, error message, error page. Yellow screen. But for client, it won't show yellow screen here. For client, what it shows, error page. What is remote only? Means for remote machines show the error page. But server machine where the developer sits now, for developer, why you want to show customized error message? I'm a developer, I should know the error correctly. For developer showing the error page is wrong. For developer tell the correct reason why the error is coming. So that's way. So in the real time, what is the option we use is remote only. So on the server, it will show you actual errors. But for remote clients, it won't show errors. What will show you? Error pages. Are you clear? So these are the 3 options what we have there. On, off, remote only. What is the correct option? Use remote only. Default is off. Default is off. On means server client both will see error page only. But remote only means server will see error page, yellow screen, and the client will see custom error page. I will see yellow screen. Client will see custom error page. So that's what exactly the remote only is all about. Okay, now, are you clearer? Okay, just a second, guys. In that, I am going to add one more action method, guys. In the controller class, yeah, one more action method. What is the method name? Show view. And guys, I will look I added a method, but I'm not creating a view for this. I'm not creating a view for this. Did you understand me? I'm not creating a view. Because I did not create a view, when I call it, I'll get an error. You already know now. If the view is not created, you'll get an error. Okay. Home. What is the page name? Show view. Remember this? Yes or not? Yeah, this one we know. Show view. It was searching in the home folder, shared folder. Not only that, it will search for ASPX page, ASCX page. Same way, .vb, HTML, all these things. I explained you all these options to in the earlier classes to you. Are you getting me or not? So it is going to show you everything for you in this place. It is going to show you this one. Now can I use handle error here? Handle error. Handle error. Are you clear what I'm using? Handle error. Okay. So now again run this. Calling home. What's it? Show view. Home show view. So I just called it the home show view. But still, when I use my handle error on that, oh, sorry, guys. We just add remote only now. That's why you're not able to see. I'm sorry. It should be on. Thank you. Home show view. Are you clear? I'm trying to call an action method which is not existing in my application at all. I'm trying to call a action method which is not existing in my application. Something like show view 1. Is it existing? No. I'm trying to call this action method. What's it now? Page not found. Page not found. So it has to go to error page now. It won't go. Understand there. When it goes to that error, you know, when there is an exception in the code, this is not an exception. Basically in web application, errors are two types. In web applications, errors are two types. Client errors, server errors. Do you checked out the status codes what I asked you to do? The 5 different series of status code. 1XX, 2XX, 3XX, 4XX and 5XX. 1XX is information messages. 2XX, success. 2XX is always about success. 3XX, redirections. 3XX series is redirect. 4XX, client errors. 5XX, server errors. Right now what you got is a client error, not a server error. 404 means client error, not a server error. So the handle error will handle what? Server error. What will handle? Server error. And that to understand. So handle that on the top of the method, you are required to write handle error. Array, you don't have a method at all. Yaar. Where did you write handle error for that? Did you catch my point or not? Do you have a method? No. Then where did you write the handle error? So what is it giving you? A 404 error. So these are all client errors. These are all client errors. 404. So if you just check out the HTTP errors in Google, search for HTTP status codes, guys. Search for HTTP status codes. In this, you'll be finding up the different HTTP status codes. See, 1XX is information, 2XX success, 3XX redaction, 4XX client, 5XX server errors. They're all server errors. And you see the 1XX series, all these are success messages. 2XX is all about status codes. Sorry. All 1XX is information, 2XX is success, 3XX is redirection. Now 4XX is what I want. You got an error number 400. What is that? Bad request. The request could not be understood by the server due to incorrect syntax. You sent some value here that was not the correct format now. The client should not repeat the request without modification. Unauthorized. Indicates that the request requires user authentication information. The client may repeat the request with a suitable authorization header field. Next, payment required. Reserved for future use. It is aimed for using it in a digital payment system. This is an experimental, right now no implementation for this. Forbidden. Unauthorized request. The client does not have access rights to the content. Unlike 401, the client's identity is known to the server. 404. We know this. No need to explain this. The server could not find the requested. Same 405. The requested HTTP method is known by the server but has been disabled and cannot be used by the resource. Like this, we have so many client errors. Right now, my handle error will handle what? Server errors but not client errors. Did you catch my point or not? What is it handling? Server errors. Right now, it is not going to handle the client errors. So then how to handle the client errors tomorrow? 404 error is coming. I don't want to show, see right now if you see the 404, what is it showing you? It is showing a screen like this. No, I don't want to show like this. What do you want then? I want to show a clean message. The requested page is not found. Either it might be deleted or moved to a different location. Some user friendly message I just wanted to show. Are you getting me or not? Okay. But right now, our handle error handles what? Server errors, but not handling your client errors. Clearer? Then how can we handle the client errors? Basically, if at all you just want to handle the client errors here, you can do one thing. What's it? In the web.config, you say customer mode is equals to on. Customer mode is equals to on. And here you have an attribute called as, I did not, mode is equals to on. After setting the mode is equals to on, okay, here you can write error status code is equals to, you can write your status code here, 400, status code is equals to 400. Redirect is equals to, you can redirect to a different page now. You can redirect to a different page now. Like this, for everything you can write one now. See 401, redirect to one page. 402, redirect to another page. 403, another page. 404, 405. Like this, you can redirect to a different page now. But you remember, in MVC, a page cannot be launched directly. You need an action method for launching a view. So what is your job, you know? Define a controller now. Define a controller. Write action methods to launch and write the action method name here. That action method will go and launch the view for you. Okay, I'll show you the problem. But did you understand that? Yes or not? What will this handle? Server errors. What will this handle? Client errors. This is going to handle all the client errors for you in the process. The first one, customer mode is equals to on, you written there now. What that will handle you? That will handle you the server errors. And here you can say default redirect is equals to, you can just give the default page. What is that? Error.chhtml. Even you don't write also, that will go. But if at all you want to be clear, if the server error, go to here, client error, go to here, you can just write that page name. Even if you don't write also, that doesn't matter. MVC framework will automatically pick. But here it is mandatory for you now. What is mandatory? which action method has to be invoked. And every action method should launch a PO. Okay. We'll do that in the next class. We'll define a controller. We'll write a separate action method for each error. So whenever that error comes, it will invoke you, that action method, and a corresponding view is going to be launched. Okay. I'll show you in the next class. Let's stop here.